Got it.
You don't have to yet.
And do the captain.
Okay.
Stop, Brandon.
Here we go. Stop. Stop messing around. We're talking inequalities, you better pipe down. Less than, greater than, sometimes equal to. A lot of little rules, let's take a minute and review. A variable's less than, shaded to the left. Less to the left, less to the left. That means greater than, shaded to the right. Does it all make sense? Everybody all right? How about the circle, open or close? Listen up real quick and then you'll know. The more in the symbol, the more in the circle. Let me explain, then you get in a world. The symbol's also equal to the dot is filled in. So a line with the symbol closed, circle begin. Where there's no line there, just greater or less. Leave the circle open, don't forget for the test. Inequalities, talking about those inequalities. Take those problems, graph them, solve them, talking about those inequalities. Sometimes you gotta isolate the variable on one side, separate. It's just like solving an equation, but a little bit different on equation. See, you got a couple things to consider. A bit more difficult, but don't be bitter. I got some info that'll just gotta give when you multiply or divide by a negative. Flip that inequality symbol. That's just it, don't sweat it, simple. All of those steps that you normally do, feed all the fish, what they call distribute. Combine the like terms on each side, then get the likes on the left and the right. Finally, you multiply or sometimes divide, and if it's by a negative, you gotta put the sign. Inequalities, talking about those inequalities. Take those problems, graph them, solve them, talking about those inequalities. Inequalities are not always based on one number. It could be less than one or greater than another. Or you got two numbers and it's all that's in between. They call them compound inequalities. Like a compound word is two words together. Same with inequalities, but just one letter. You need an example. Well, here we go. Take the range of test grades with the highs and the lows. Say a 93% is a grade, that's the best, and a low of 65. So you had a bad test. So you write it as a compound inequality, where the range is from 65 to 93. 65 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 93. The x represents all your test grades from the worst to the best. Inequalities, talking about those inequalities. Take those problems, graph them, solve them, talking about those inequalities. Inequalities, talking about those inequalities. Take those problems, graph them, solve them, talking about those inequalities.
Woo!
I told